Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to my channel. So let's start the today fanfiction story. What if Autonomus Naruto? Let's story start. The Hidden Leaf Village bathed in the warm, golden hues of a setting sun, a tranquil haven for its inhabitants. Laughter of children echoed through the streets, ninjas honed their skills, and families savored cherished dinner moments. A day's toil had earned them this peace. But then, without warning, darkness swallowed the sky. A tempest brewed, and not just any storm, a storm conjured by the Nine-Tails fox, the most formidable and perilous of all the nine-tailed beasts. A thunderous roar shattered the serenity, and the villagers gazed up in dread as the Nine-Tails emerged, a colossal, fur-clad monstrosity wreathed in churning chakra clouds. Its crimson eyes bore into the village below. That it is the Nine-Tails, a voice cried out, panic infecting its tone. What do we do? Answers were a luxury as the Nine-Tails opened its maw, unleashing a torrent of flames that devoured everything in its path. Structures crumbled, trees ignited, and lives scattered in desperation. In the midst of chaos, a cadre of elite ninjas, including the revered Third Hokage, raced to the village's heart. But as they neared, the Nine-Tails summoned a colossal tornado that sent them tumbling. Desperation tightened its grip on the Third Hokage. We must hold the Nine-Tails until Minato arrives. Stand firm, give your all, he bellowed to his comrades. They unleashed a barrage of weapons and jutsu, but none fazed the Kyuubi. As it ready to tail Beast Bomb, the village fate hung in the balance. Just as the bomb hurtled toward them, the fourth Hokage, Minato, materialized and deftly whisked it away using his Hurricane seal, sending it harmlessly into the distance. The shockwave rippled through the air, leaving all unsteady. It's the fourth Hokage. Now we can defeat this beast, a ninja exclaimed, capturing everyone's attention. But the Nine-Tails had its eye on Minato as well. So, you've spotted me, Nine-Tails, Minato muttered, determination in his voice. I must teleport it far from the village or risk its annihilation. In an instant, Minato stood before the Kyuubi, a log in his place, employing his Hurricane jutsu to teleport the beast far from the village. No, what's Minato thinking? He can't face the Nine-Tails alone. I have to help him, the third Hokage resolved as he sprinted toward the Kyuubi's location. Meanwhile, Minato relentlessly employed his Hurricane technique, striking the Kyuubi repeatedly, only to witness its rapid regeneration. Gasping for breath, he muttered, "This won't work. It'll keep regenerating. I must seal it swiftly, but Kushina is too injured to contain it. I need another vessel." In that perilous moment, a plan materialized, but before he could act, the Kyuubi lunged, its monstrous claw aimed at his heart. Yet instead of piercing pain, Minato heard a mighty thud. Opening his eyes to find Gamabunta, the leader of Toad Summons, impaling the Kyuubi with his sword. Beside him stood a tall, white-haired man with red cheek markings, grinning broadly. The great Toad Sannin, Jiraiya, arrives to save the day, he declared with his trademark grin before applying a temporary seal to Minato's forehead. I've given you 50% of my chakra, Minato. Go and find the vessel for the Nine-Tails. We'll handle things here, he instructed as Minato teleported away. With a final glance at the Kyuubi, Jiraiya declared, let's see what you're made of, Nine-Tails. It's my first battle with a tail beast. You owe me some sake after this, Jiraiya, the chief toad quipped. Minato materialized before Kushina, cradling their newborn twins, Menma, with fiery red hair and dark violet eyes, and Naruto, blonde-haired with ocean blue eyes. Minato planted gentle kisses on their foreheads before outlining his plan to Kushina. Absolutely not. It's too dangerous. I won't allow you to seal the Nine-Tails within our babies. They mean everything to me, Kushina protested, clutching her infants tighter. Kushi, please, you have to understand. This is our only chance to save the village. We'll watch over them. No harm will befall our children. They will be our village heroes, Minato assured, finally swaying Kushina after a moment of contemplation. With a swift motion, he teleported all three to safety. Ah, Minato, you've arrived just in time. My chakra is waning, and I can't use Sage Mode with this beast. Hurry, we can't hold the Kyuubi much longer, Jiraiya urged. Minato, the fourth Hokage, nodded and cast a formidable red barrier around the Nine-Tails, rendering it powerless. Minato declared, I'm about to perform the Reaper Death Seal to seal half of the Nine-Tails chakra, the yin half, within me and take it with me. Then, I'll use the 8 trigram sealing style to seal its other 2 halves, the 2 yang halves, within Naruto and Menma. Kushina interjected, seal it within me. I'll bear this burden to spare our children. Why must it be this way? Minato sat by her side, solemnly explaining, Kushi, you're right, but I want our children to have you in their lives. Your condition isn't suitable to contain the Nine-Tails. I've recently faced a formidable masked man. He could be Madara Uchiha. He was the one truly responsible of the attack. I've barely defeated him because he underestimated me. He paused, holding Kushina's hands, locking eyes with her. Kushina-chan, these kids will vanquish him. They'll shape their destiny as Jinchurikis. I don't know how, but I believe in them. But Minato, Kushina began, only for Minato to stand up and affirm, let's believe in them. With that, Minato performed the hand seals for the Reaper Death Sealing Jutsu, calling upon the Shinigami to seal half of the Nine Tails chakra within himself in exchange for his soul. "No, I won't be sealed by puny mortals," the Kyuubi roared, resisting the Shinigami. However, it was futile. The Shinigami successfully sealed half of the Nine Tails inside Minato, diminishing the beast's size by half. Huff ... huff ... huff ... its chakra is overwhelming. Even at half strength, Minato muttered, clutching his abdomen where the seal resided. He then turned to his sons, executing a hand seal. "Now, to seal the other two young halves of the Kyuubi's chakra within my sons." Summoning two ceremonial altars, he placed Naruto and Menma upon them. The Kyuubi attempted to attack once more but was thwarted by Gamabunta, who leaped over it, driving his sword into the beast's skull. "No, not on my watch," Gamabunta declared. Minato expressed his gratitude before performing the 8-trigram sealing jutsu. A seal appeared on their abdomens, but an unforeseen hiccup occurred in Minato's sealing. The Kyuubi's and a minor Shinigami's chakra interference triggered a small, harmless explosion. When the yellow smoke cleared, the Kyuubi had vanished. Minato, the fourth Hokage, knelt on both knees, breathless, yet his attention shifted to his crying sons, untouched by the explosion. A faint smile crept upon his lips as he began to embrace the impending embrace of the Shinigami. But then, a revelation struck him as he surveyed the surroundings, shocked and relieved. The Shinigami was nowhere to be seen. "Wait, how am I still alive? And where's the Shinigami? Does this mean I've been spared?" He pondered before smiling and losing consciousness. Hiruzen and Jiraiya, who had arrived just in time, picked up the babies, inspecting their seals. Astonishment seized them as they scrutinized the results. Both children bore the 8-trigram seals on their abdomens, but Menma's glowed while Naruto's signified that an error had occurred during the sealing. Menma had absorbed the full young chakra, while Naruto housed the Nine Tails soul. What astounded them more was Minato's survival after deploying the Reaper Death Sealing Jutsu, attributed to the explosion. Yet unnoticed by all, Naruto's left eye briefly turned silver, while a fleeting aura of dark energy emanated from Menma. "Are my babies safe?" Kushina inquired weakly, coughing up blood. Her words reached Hiruzen and Jiraiya, who nodded reassuringly. Hiruzen answered, "Yes, both are safe, Kushina," before she succumbed to unconsciousness. In the aftermath of the Nine Tails onslaught, Minato and Kushina were rushed to the hospital, where they received the best medical care available, courtesy of Tsunade, the legendary Sannin and granddaughter of the first Hokage. Hearing of the crisis, Tsunade had returned to Konoha, offering her formidable healing skills. Tsunade concentrated her efforts on Kushina, critically injured from having the Nine Tails extracted. "My, she's suffered extensive organ damage," Tsunade marveled before determinedly stating, "but I'll mend her." Employing advanced medical ninjutsu and precise chakra control, Tsunade stabilized Kushina's vital signs and regenerated her ravaged organs. Transferring a portion of her own chakra to Kushina through her yin seal release technique, Tsunade imbued her with renewed energy and vitality. Tsunade marveled at Kushina's resilience and determination. She knew that most would have succumbed to such trauma, but Kushina had not only survived but also shared a smile with her children. Tsunade admired Kushina's unwavering love for family and village, forging a kinship between them as fellow Kunoichi. For hours, Tsunade labored ceaselessly, ensuring Kushina's recovery. She then turned her attention to Minato, gravely injured but stable. Despite the severe chakra loss from using the Reaper Death Sealing Jutsu, Minato had miraculously evaded death. Tsunade healed his wounds, restored his chakra, and pondered how he had cheated such a perilous technique. Tsunade respected Minato's bravery and brilliance, recognizing him as a genius ninja and a savior of the village from imminent doom. His decision to seal the Nine Tails within his sons earned her admiration and hope for their future strength and courage. Concluding her ministrations on Minato, Tsunade gave him a thumbs up before visiting Naruto and Menma, slumbering peacefully in another room. Minato had gifted them with special seals to contain the Nine Tails chakra, and they had inherited their parents' distinctive traits. Naruto possessed his father's blonde hair and blue eyes, while Menma boasted his mother's red hair and violet eyes. Innocence radiated from their innocent forms, ignorant of their destiny. Tsunade smiled softly, kissing their foreheads before leaving them in the care of Hiruzen and Jiraiya, who had pledged to protect them until their parents recovered. Tsunade wished for a life filled with happiness and peace, free from the shadows of hatred and fear that tainted the shinobi world. She believed, even without the Nine Tails chakra, Naruto would rise as a hero. Chapter 1. Naruto's Harsh Childhood. Part 1. Awakening of the Demon Fox. Naruto Uzumaki was a young boy who had been cursed by a cruel fate since birth. He lived in a village where everyone treated him with fear and suspicion, including his own parents, Minato and Kushina. They had always been distant with him, And it wasn't until much later that Minato revealed the truth, that the Nine-Tails Fox had been defeated and its chakra sealed within himself and his other son Menma, while sealing the soul of Nine-Tails in Naruto, making him a living prison for the powerful beast soul. The villagers and Minato believed that he was a ticking time bomb, waiting to unleash the Kyuubi's fury upon them if he ever got strong enough. They kept their distance, treating him with hostility and excluding him from their activities. Even his own siblings, Menma, Mito, and Naomi, didn't understand him or why their elder brother was so sad, so they often played pranks on him to cheer him up, but instead, he got more hurt. Despite everything, Naruto tried his best to make friends and fit in. One day, he approached a group of children playing in the park. "Hey, can I join in?" Naruto asked eagerly, but the children quickly shook their heads and moved away from him. "No way, monster. We don't want you here," one of them shouted. One of them pushed Naruto, causing him to fall down. As he got up, Naruto yelled back, "I am no monster. I am Naruto Uzumaki. I'm going to become the strongest ninja in the world and prove to the world that I am no demon or monster. Believe it." The children laughed at him, and one of them said mockingly, "Yeah, right. Like you'd ever become strong. Look at me, guys. I can become the strongest too. Ha ha ha." As they began throwing stones at him, Naruto sighed and ran away, feeling hurt and alone. This wasn't the first time he had been rejected. Everyone, including his own family, the stores, and the kids his age, seemed to reject him. He couldn't understand why the world was against him. He tried desperately to kill himself and end his suffering, but every time he was stopped by an invisible force. He just wanted to live in peace for a little time, but fate was also against him. He couldn't even afford to buy decent food or clothes. And the few people who were nice to him were the ones who ran the local ramen shop, Ikaraku's. Chuchai and his daughter, Ayame, were the only ones who treated him with kindness and respect. "Hey, Naruto, how are you doing today?" Chuchai asked as Naruto entered the shop. "I'm doing all right, I guess," Naruto replied, trying to hide his sadness. "Well, we have some extra ramen today. Would you like some?" Ayame asked, smiling at him. Naruto's eyes lit up. "Really? Thank you so much." He devoured the ramen like he was starving from weeks, which in fact he was. Chuchai and Ayame could only smile at him. Chuchai and Ayame were the only ones who made his day a little brighter, and he was grateful for their kindness. However, despite their help, Naruto couldn't shake off the feeling of loneliness and isolation that had followed him all his life. As the years went by, Naruto grew increasingly desperate for attention and affection. He would do anything to get a smile or a kind word from his parents or siblings, but it seemed like they were all under some sort of spell, unable to show him the love and care that he craved. But then he remembered something that he couldn't forget ever since that day. Flashback. "Why are you all treating me like this? When have I ever done something wrong to you? Why are you doing this, To-san and Ka-san?" Naruto demanded, his voice piercing through Kushina's heart like a sharp sword. She couldn't bear seeing her firstborn son being treated this way, but she couldn't do anything about it. She was much weaker than Minato after the Nine-Tails attack, so she couldn't assist Naruto in any way without fearing that Minato would treat her other children the same way. Overcome with strong emotions and tears, she fell down unconscious. Minato's anger boiled over, and he lifted Naruto up by the neck. "Look what you've done to Kushina. You're a menace to this family, a demon, a useless brat with zero potential." He spat, applying more force to Naruto's neck. "That's it, I've had enough of you. Listen carefully. From now on, you're banished from this family. You're no longer in Uzukage. Get your butt out of my house. Do you understand me, brat?" Minato's grip tightened on Naruto's neck as Naruto struggled to breathe. "Cough. Why, yes, sir," Naruto managed to say before Minato threw him into a corner of the room. "Now get out and never come back," Minato ordered, his voice cold and unforgiving. His siblings could only watch in horror as their elder brother was banished from their home. They were worried for his safety, but they were too afraid to defy their father. Naruto nodded, still coughing, as he stood up and turned to his siblings. He gave them a warm smile, cheering them up and telling them not to worry about him. Naruto would always be there for them, cheering them up whenever they felt sad with his warm smile. With that, he made his way towards the exit of the Uzukage compound. From that day forward, he would be forced to live alone on the streets, struggling to find food and shelter, with no one to care for him. Flashback end. Time skip. When Naruto turned 6 years old, things came to a head. A group of villagers cornered him in an alleyway, taunting and threatening him. They called him names and said that he was a danger to society, that he shouldn't have ever been born. Naruto tried to explain that he wasn't a monster, that he was just a little boy who wanted to be loved and accepted, but they wouldn't listen, just like every time. In a burst of rage and frustration, the Kyuubi within Naruto finally broke free. Its power surged through his body, causing his eyes to turn red and his hair to grow longer and wilder. The villagers were terrified, backing away from him in fear as the nine-tailed fox's chakra began to manifest. "Roar! You will pay," roared by the Kyuubi in control of Naruto's body. The Kyuubi took control of Naruto's body completely, its consciousness overwhelming his own. Without hesitation, it turned to the villagers and slaughtered them, its power growing stronger with each passing moment. Naruto watched in horror as the bodies piled up, the screams echoing in his mind long after they had stopped. When it was all over, the cubine disappeared, leaving Naruto shaken, frozen, and confused. He couldn't move a muscle. The weight of the horrifying massacre weighed on his conscience, and the realization that he was a vessel for such a malevolent entity filled him with despair. His spirit was crushed, and he felt like he had truly become the monster that everyone had always accused him of being. As the echoes of the screams faded away, Naruto was left standing amidst the devastation, feeling utterly lost and alone. He couldn't comprehend the magnitude of what had just transpired. It was as if a nightmare had consumed his life, leaving him trapped in a never-ending cycle of torment and isolation. In the aftermath of the massacre, Naruto heard a faint voice in his head. It was soft and gentle, like a whisper in the wind, but it carried a profound weight. "Run," the voice urged, repeating the command over and over. Naruto's body finally responded to this desperate plea, and he began to flee the scene, tears streaming down his face as he left behind the horrors he had unwittingly unleashed. The forest provided a temporary sanctuary, and Naruto collapsed, trembling with fear and guilt. He questioned his own existence, wondering if he was truly cursed, destined to bring pain and destruction wherever he went. "I am a monster," he muttered to himself, broken and defeated. The label he had fought so hard to defy now seemed like an inescapable truth, etched into his very soul. As he lay there, haunted by the memories of that dreadful day, Naruto couldn't help but ponder the question that had tormented him for so long. Am I really a demon? The weight of his existence pressed down on him, and he was consumed by the darkness of his own despair. Naruto's heart ached with the loneliness of a life filled with rejection and tragedy, and he couldn't see a glimmer of hope on the horizon as he collapsed and fell into unconsciousness. For Naruto, this was one of the saddest of his tragic tale, and he was left with the daunting challenge of finding a reason to keep moving forward in a world that had turned its back on him. Chapter end. So that is for today's video. If you like story, please subscribe our channel and share your friends. Thank you.